Hello and you're welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. So we're live from the Accra Bohema studio at North Ridge. I am Ania Fompofu. We're going through our series of time with the aspirants. So we've been having, one-on-one chats or conversations with personalities who actually want to lead the New Patriotic Party NPP. And you've heard from some of them. Some are yet to come. Today one is with us. So we are looking at the national organizer hopeful, the youth organizer hopeful, yes, for the party. And this person we're talking about, you probably know him as SM. Now, SM has actually been around for some time. For some time, he's been doing a couple of things for the party. He's worked very closely with Samia Oku. Yes, Samia Oku. Okay, he's worked closely with Samia Oku. And maybe sometimes when you work with people like Samia Oku, it is somehow difficult to know exactly what you were doing. But currently I can say that he is working, or he is at the office of the president, doing some technical activities there. We'll ask him more about that as well. If you find it deemed, worth it for him to be the one to lead the youth on the national stage as the NPP looks to breaking the 8, pay attention to this conversation. My name is Ania Fompofu. We'll be back with some more with SM. All right, you're welcome back. You're still on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Ania Fompofu, and we're going through a conversation of time with the aspirants, and that's what we've set aside for Good Afternoon Ghana, to get into the heads of persons who think they're bold, courageous, talented, and have leadership qualities to lead a party like the NPP into going into the next election and maybe beyond that if you find your work worth it. So Salam Mustapha, we'll be talking to him shortly. But before we get to Salam, let's still stay with the NPP, but let's go to the Central Region. Remember that this weekend, the Central Region actually held its elections. They had delayed a bit over some constituency problems and courts, injunctions and all that. But that somehow, it was arranged in a way, and they were able to hold the election. So the Central Regional NPP executive election ended with the incumbent Robert Kuting Jr. retaining his seat as chairman. And the party envisaged that uniting its fronts ahead of 2024 election is their target. Central Regional correspondent Akwesiado also gave us a report. Let's go through that report.
The polls was conducted after some aggrieved members of the party had their desires settled by having executives elected for the Akumfi constituency. At Dunkwa-Onofen, 454 delegates met at the conference to decide the fate of 28 aspirants who contested 10 offices. Before polls began, some aspirants like Theophilus Ethum Harms, who forfeited his position as chairman for Ifuti constituency, even though was popularly acclaimed, were already jubilating. They had later been saddened and shocked by the results. Incumbent Robert Kuting Jr., who faced a strong competition from Joseph Kobina Esibo, a former treasurer of the party, managed to secure a third-time victory as regional chairman as he garnered 237 votes as against his contender who polled 195 out of the total valid votes cast. Incumbent Richard Techi Mensah and Charlotte Ajowaintri also won to retain their seats as regional secretary and women organizer respectively. The elections also produced first-time entrant Michael Mensah, a former Wutisenya East MCE, as winner in the second chairmanship slot. The party say it looks forward to unite its front ahead of the 2024 elections in order to secure victory in both the presidential and parliamentary elections. Regional Secretary-elect Richard Techi Mensah spoke to Metro News.
Chairman Robert Kuchi Junior Administration this time is going to operate what we call Agenda Unlimited. No, we are the officers at the regional level. We have constituency officers, we have police station officers, electoral coordinators. We are going to bring all of them on board so that those who also have ideas as to how we can win the 2024 elections, we will welcome those ideas.
Transport Minister Isaac Esiama is the Elections Committee Chairman. At a post-polls engagement with the media, he called for unity among the winning and losing candidates since the ultimate battle, according to him, is the 2024 elections. He described the process as peaceful.
For those who've won, congratulations, but I wish that once you have won, the onus is on you to bring the person who lost to your side so that you can pool our resources, pool our strength, our ideas, our knowledge, everything together. Because there's a saying that one head is better than two heads are better than one. So I believe that if we bring everybody on board, it will help us to charter a good path. And for the new executive, they should learn what the old one did, that they felt that it was not good. They should amend. For those things that they did good, they should imitate, they should carefully imitate it. Because it's through these two dimensions that you can have the balance.
You're welcome, but that's a little brief. Now, the Metro TV also gathered that the fresh elections may be organized in the Ikumfi constituency to elect an assistant secretary for the new Patriotic Party. And the elections, according to the Central Regional Scribe of the MPP, Richard Techi Mensah, also said it may be conducted after the contestants involved fail to arrive at a consensus.
Meeting. A National Council is the second highest decision-making body of the party. We had a time in some parts of the northern region where the treasurer position, there was a tie. So there are instances where the two people that had the tie, where one went for the treasurer and the other one also went for financial secretary. So, but where that consensus is not built, or they are not able to come to consensus, then we have to rerun the position. So with the Kumfi one, the regional party will look at it and see how best we can deal with it. I don't know, yes, they've already done appointment. So it means that we will table it at the national and see if we can go by what the National Council has already directed. So as I said, we will look at it, then find a solution to it. But as it stands, National Council directed that when there's a tie, if there's no consensus, so that one takes up an appointment, then we should run that position again.
All right, so the NPP is gradually going through that, and then we'll definitely settle with all the regions and come to a conclusion with the primaries at the regional level. But we are definitely focusing on the national level, and well, that's from primaries from regions to the national level. So now that they're focusing on the national level, you now want to pay attention into details what's happening. We know that John Boydu launched his campaign last week, just close by our office at Alisa Hotel, and you heard what happened there. I want to believe that some of the flag bearers, hopefuls, are also going around the country and doing a national tour, talking to their people at the grassroots level for them to, put their trust in them and give them their support. So Salam Mustapha is our guest today to look at the youth organizer position, what he intends to do for the party. Salam, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you so much,
I hope
Annie.
you're well.
By the grace of God, I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm fine. And by the way, I like your shirt.
Thank you.
It's
and
really...
you look splendid yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Nice
I'm grateful.
by you to have a tete-a-tete.
Yes, we have to do that even after the show.
Sure.
Tete-a-tete after the show.
Sure.
Anyway, let's go through some profile of SM, and this is a movement.
It's a movement.
Yes, SM is a movement. So Salam Mustapha is popularly known as SM within the political circles. Schooled at Tamale Secondary School, that's one of the good schools anyway. Tamale Secondary School, studied general arts, went to UDS to read IDS, and holds a master's degree in project management from the University of Salford. Now, he has also been active member of the NPP and rose through the ranks to become Deputy National Youth Organizer for the NPP under Samia Uku. Currently, the Director of Programs at the Office of the Vice President. All right. So this is the brief about Salam. Are you satisfied with all that you've done with the party for some time now, till now?
Well, Annie, political party work is a continuum. It never stops. And for me, I can but be proud of my contribution to the new patriotic party so far. I've had about 18 solid years of work for the new patriotic party, and it is culminating into large support for my bid to lead the youth front of the party. And I think that it is largely because of the work that I've done over the period that has seen me garner so much support within the rank and file of the party. So indeed, I won't say in total that I am there, but we are still in the trenches and we are still working for this party, and we will do so until strength fails us.
Still in the trenches?
Yes.
Are you a grassroots person?
Extremely grassroots.
How?
I rose through the ranks, you know, from the grassroots all the way up. You see, this whole political construct, you must understand how it works. So when I started sometime 2004 as a young boy, I think about 1920 thereabout, it was all about, you know, the lowest of the low in the party, the very grassroots level, chanting the party songs, doing all the things we do at grassroots, going to rallies, riding the motorbikes for display, and all that.
You did that?
Oh yes, I ride motorbike so well. When I want to display with a motorbike, you'll be shocked. That's how well I can ride it. You know, so
I have a question for you.
yeah, we have gone through it all, and we're going through to join the regional communications team, rising gradually, joining the operations team of the party, and becoming Deputy National Youth Organizer. You see, for you to, especially an appointive position like a Deputy National Youth Organizer, you must be quite a known entity in the party for you to go virtually uncontested. By the time my name popped up for the position of Deputy National Youth Organizer, I was quite a known entity in the NPP already. Virtually had worked with all the people who matter in the political space as far as our party is concerned. So we have done quite some work for the party, and I believe that it has served as a stepping stone for me today, and it is replicating itself in the amount of support that I've been able to garner across the country. And I say so with a lot of humility, that sometimes I get baffled myself how, you know, such a young man from nowhere, you know, has so much support within the rank and file of the party. Everywhere you go, it's SM movement, and, you know, being talked about, people genuinely working for me, and, you know, sometimes they don't even reach out to me, but they go all out, you know, to ensure that this bid of mine, you know, sees the light of day. It is a certain appreciation and attestation to what I have done, my ability, my capacity, and trust that I will lead the youth wing in the right direction for it to achieve the purpose that it wants to.
How did your motorbike riding affect the youth?
Oh, it doesn't really affect
As
the
a
youth.
grassroots person?
Yes. Where I come from the northern region. Growing up, virtually everybody can ride a motorbike in Tamale. Female, males, young, old. So it's something that I got to
Is
learn
that why
very early.
motorbikes is so significant in our political body politicking?
Um,
Where even political leaders will buy for foot soldiers and then they will use it. I mean, we in the media, we think that this thing is such a nuisance.
Not necessarily. You may see it so. It's a means of transport. When you go to the hinterlands, it is so important, these motorbikes, because to move from one area to the other, to campaign, to work for the party, you would traverse vast lands, and certainly having a motorbike helps you to do so.
Yes, but
And
that's when the when and the how of its usage comes in.
yes, you know, the work in politics is about being able to reach people, you understand. And the means to is very important. There are places that even a pickup cannot go, cars cannot go. It's only the motorbike that will take you. Sometimes, especially now that we are in the rainy season, some of the places are so, the roads are quite bad that it will take only a motorbike for you to be able to. But when you come to the north, one of our primary sources, means of transport is the motorbike. So we all grow up, you know, learning to ride one. Yeah, but, you know, for we the young, it is also more of the show because we're able to use it to do, you know, other stuff, you know, to give if the presidential candidate is coming, you know, do all the display
That's
and all
called
that.
useful exuberance.
Yeah, you call it so.
You think
call
that's
it so.
good?
It is youthful exuberance, absolutely so. It adds to the panache and, you know, the political language, you know, the euphoria, everything about politics. So it is a whole basket that contains all of these elements put together.
So, I mean, talking about youthful exuberance, in your opinion, I don't mean to ask you how old you are or whatever, but in your opinion, what do you think of youth organizers and the age limits we have in Ghana? Because there's been very ridiculous and interesting arguments around it. When you go elsewhere, the age of the youth organizer, I mean, it's like maybe 15, 18, 25, maximum 29 maybe. 30, 35, 40, something else. But in Ghana, youth is 40 and above sometimes, or maybe, you know, late 30s and up to. Why do you think that happens? And why must we justify that even people that international standard don't fall within the youth age limits, we have to allow it per where we are?
Your question is a bit interesting. I have followed UN classification of youth.
Yeah.
Okay, from 18 to 25, 25 to 35, and under 40. So if you look at our constitution, we have a cap age of 40. So if you want to be national youth organizer of the NPP, you cannot be above 40. You must be 40 and below. Right. It falls within the classifications. There are different classifications. If you look at World Bank, they might give you a different age classification for youth and other demographics. But here in Ghana, most of the age classifications I've seen, to qualify to go to parliament, you must be somewhere 21. And to qualify to run for president, you must be 41 and above. So clearly, we have a 40-year threshold, under which everybody is classified as youth. So we are still well within. The thing about, say, age and ability to perform,
Right.
I think are two inexclusive factors. So the strength in your heart, your ability to do the youthful things, your strength, okay, the power, the zeal you bring, most of the times it's also, you know, considered within, the brackets of politics that we do. So you may see somebody who is 45, okay, but the person may identify with the youth because the person is still very vibrant, active, and playing a very active role in, say, youth activities. But if we are going strictly by age classifications, then we come to the age categorizations I have so mentioned.
All right. So then let's look at also now where you want to come to, what you want to do, and what we are battling with now when it comes to the youth, of course. Unemployment, you can't go without mentioning.
Yeah.
Is this something that you think you're ready to take up the challenge? Tell me what you see on the ground with the Ghanaian youth. A few days ago, I interviewed some political guns in this country, and in their days, the youth is not as it is today. Yeah. What we see is that the youth is hungry for money, and it has to come quick and fast. So we now have to battle with morality and a few things just to get the youth online. Is this something that you're ready for?
I am, completely. Everything I have done has prepared me for the role at this material moment. The youth wing is about the biggest department in the party. You cannot win any elections in this country without the youth. We are an extremely youthful population. Over 70% of our population is young people. If you take the voters register, out of the 17 million plus, over 10 million of them are youth between 18, the start of the voting age, to about 40. So clearly, young people are the cornerstone, to winning elections in Ghana. And any party that is able to break the youth code, I believe, would break the 8. You must have the majority of the young people in this country believe in the vision of a political party to rally behind it to win. We saw in 2000 how a lot of young people rose up, fought well, and when the NDC looked unbeatable, the NPP beat the NDC and took power. In 2016, I was part of the mobilization of young people in this country to defeat the NDC with nearly 1 million votes. So it tells you the power, the strength of young people, and when harnessed, becomes something productive. And that's exactly what we are looking to do. Young
How do you
people,
break the code of the youth?
Yes.
I know you didn't make this statement from Woman from Bonano. I know you didn't make that statement, but you were a deputy. Is that how to break the code of the youth?
The code of the youth, is understanding, the youth. I am a young person myself. You have mentioned we have our own set of issues. Unemployment today is a big issue in the party, in the country in general. Majority of the young people in this party today want to, be supported, want to feel part of the system, want, opportunities. And it is up to us to lead them in finding them. This youth wing, I've been in it for a very long time, since Anthony Abayfa-Cabo was youth organizer. So I've been in it for quite a long time. I was also nurtured by Dr. Mustapha Abdulhamid, the CEO for NPA, who was also one-time national youth organizer.
So you've worked with these three people. You've worked with Hamid.
I have been
Anthony,
in the youth wing.
And Sami Awuku.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Sami, because of the work we were able to do with Anthony Abayfa-Cabo, when Sami Awuku won and said, I want to work with this young man, there was hardly any contestation to my name.
What did he see with you?
He saw the ability in me to help, deliver on the core mandate to rally young people behind the NPP to win the 2016 elections, right? And by the grace of God, my name was quite a known one, and I went through the laborious process of being confirmed as a deputy national youth organizer. I have seen, the current national youth wing. I've taken my time to study it from, say the time Mustapha Hamid was youth organizer to John Boedu, Attorney Abayifa Kabo, Sami Wuku, which I was part, and now Nana B, who is leaving the position. Clearly, the dynamics of the youth wing has changed somewhat, right? Like you mentioned, the current facade of the youth probably is a bit different from how it was in the early 2000s. But I tell people that don't forget, in the early 2000s, we didn't have social media. Things were different. So the youth, in essence, might not have changed drastically, that we believe. The, intricacies may have been the same, but today we see a lot more because we have the power of social media, other, technological tools that allows us, to sit within the click of a button, have a grasp of whatever is going on in the world. So we see the youth a bit differently. If you go back to even pre-independence and you understand the movements that took place, you would see that the youth of this country have always had a certain mentality. And I believe that that mentality is still what drives the Ghanaian society. Once our society hasn't changed much, I don't think that the mentality of the youth have also drastically changed over the period. Of course, other elements have changed. And like I've said, impact of social media, education, and all that have all, changed the dynamics. Today, those days, if you went to school, you were paid. And by the time you finished school, there was a desk waiting for you to be employed. Today, it is not the same thing. Today, I know so many young people who are sitting home, have finished school, have their certificates, 3, 4, 5, 6, some up to 10 years, haven't been able to find employment. But in the 1960s, you wouldn't have found it same. So clearly, certain changes have happened. And that's why today...
Will you accept that leadership over the period has failed the youth?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not
Why
at all.
not at all?
Leadership over...
They're supposed to make things better.
Yes.
We're not supposed to.
When you go to even the great and mighty countries, you will find the same challenges. I am a student of development.
So even those great and mighty countries
I'm a student of development.
have failed
I'm
the
coming.
youth?
No, not necessarily. I'm a student of development. One of the theories, look, people will never stop giving birth. Society continues to grow. So even if you create 1 million jobs today, by the next 3, 5, 4 years, people may come and fill them, and you would have to create more. And that is it. That is
You have
whole
expertise
concept of development.
in development. You have
Yes.
expertise in project management. Do we have a capacity to predict, if we look at birth rates today, do we have a capacity with people, your type of such expertise, to predict how Ghanaian youth population will stand maybe in the next 5 years, considering the birth rates today?
So we have a quite high birth rate, which translates into our youthful population. I, however, admit that our system is not able to churn out, jobs at the same rate as we grow young people. And this is probably one of the reasons. Sad one at that. But our concept of employment itself, I think is problematic in this country. I hold the position that government cannot be the biggest employer and would expect that we are able to churn out a commensurate number of jobs all the time to absorb young people. Clearly, the private sector is the way to go, and the private sector should be the engine of growth. That is why I remain an ardent believer in a center-right, policy, where the market system works, sort of capitalism. Okay, so but here it is difficult
Sword of
so
capitalism.
difficult. Not capitalism in its total form,
Totality.
because it is difficult, it's harsh. That's why we try to fuse it with some liberalism and all that. So we should begin to drift the minds of our young people. Like I've told you, it looks like we have a certain historical antecedents that if you went to school and you were finishing, some job was already waiting for you to finish. So we even paid you for going to school. And once you finish, your job was already waiting for you. Today, in the 21st century, where geopolitics, geoeconomics, everything is competitive, we cannot have same. That is why we should also begin to drift towards the private sector. But it is harsh. In this country, we sort of want to look down on private sector jobs. I don't know if it's actually the right word to use. But even I have seen people in private sector wanting to move to government sector. So people will tell you, oh, when you get opportunity at Ghana Gas, help me to get
the government public office.
Yes. Oh, can you get me a Bank of Ghana or so? So they want to leave the private sector and come into government, sector, which rather we should be seeing the reverse. So when you go to the West, the United States of America, United Kingdom, I'm not sure government employs more than 10% of the population. It's all about the departments and their intelligence, systems and so on and so forth. Even within their intelligence and systems, most of the jobs are on contract. So they have tried to largely drift towards a private sector system, which we should be looking at here, so that we are able to drift the minds of our young people from government-led white-collar jobs to a more private sector, system, which gives much more jobs. I am into farming. I have a large tract of rice farm, and I love it. You know what I love about the rice farm? When I go and stand in the farm and I see the green, running, hectares ahead of me, I just like it.
How many hectares do you have?
I think about 80, trying to do up to 100.
Okay, where is this farm?
It's in Fu in the northern region.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're typically a farmer.
Yes.
You're typically a farmer.
Yes.
So politics is a extra job, extra work on your hands. No. This is the interesting thing. I started the politics even before jumping into the farming. Okay.
When I was leaving uni in 2010, thereabout, I told myself I didn't want to write any application letter. It was a promise to myself, and that I wanted to be self-reliant. So I began asking myself, what's, ifs, the buts, and all that, where, what to do. Traveling abroad was not one of my immediate options. I just wanted to stay. So having developed interest in politics, did student politics. I was a TESCON member in school. We did the NPP politics in school. I developed interest. So
what do you think of student politics?
It's a preparatory ground for people. Those of us who went into student politics picked up this grassroots, thinking mentality. So you realize that those with a background in student politics come into national politics with certain grounding, because you would have done some kind of localized politics
but is it
from
okay
your peers before even coming up to the national level. What we should understand about politics is that it's about managing human beings. It's about people. We are not dealing with cassava and maize. We are dealing with human beings. So your ability to manage human beings.
So that's the politics side. Is it okay to have our partisan politics smear, interfere, whatever, in the students' politics? Is it okay?
There's nothing wrong with partisanship. Absolutely nothing wrong with partisanship. I have been an NPP person thick and thin, die in the hole, okay? And it doesn't make me, a monstrous person as far as understanding national, issues is concerned. I have friends, same in the NDC and other political parties. Yeah, but we still find a convergence point, and we all take it up from there. So there's nothing wrong with partisanship, in essence, and there's nothing wrong with politics. What I find, and I say this all the time, especially in our country, politics has played a very significant and crucial role in keeping the peace and security of our state. Because a lot of young people, we are a very political nation, very political. A lot of young people have taken up to politics, which is good for us. If we had left them, for them to wonder about, by now, we all shudder to think what young people would have been doing. But across the length and breadth, at all levels, the engagement of young people in politics has kept the balance of our society. And that's why, as a young person who started politics, virtually, I just ran into it at that early, stage. I have no regrets because it has brought me and taught me so much. It has brought me far, and it has taught me so much. Ability to be with people, manage people, the doors it opens for you and all that. So
right.
It's quite a good enterprise for young people.
Right. We're having a conversation with Salam Mustapha. He is aspiring to be the youth organizer, as a national youth organizer for the NPP, aka SM.
It's a movement.
It's a movement.
Yes.
We'll go for a quick breather, just a quick one. We'll be back shortly, and then we'll go through what he has up his sleeve as a youth organizer. You're welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. We're having a conversation with Salam, a.k.a. SM. But let me wish PK Sapon, he's known on Facebook as PK Sapon. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you. And I hope...
Fantastic young man, eh? He's such a good writer.
Indeed.
We didn't give him 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The
He'll write the whole
voluminous document
script.
he'll bring you, you'll be amazed. Happy birthday, PK.
Yes, PK, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a good one there. All right, so let's come back to SM. So let's go through what you have for us. Should you win the bid?
Yes.
As a youth organizer, what should we expect from you?
Annie, I am passionate about young people. I'm also a youth activist. So I am not just looking to occupy a position, but I want to lead a vibrant young generation of the new patriotic party that yearns to make a difference, okay? So one of the things I want to do as a national youth organizer for the new patriotic party is to ensure that I build a very robust, strong, formidable, bold, and a fearless youth wing that can win the next elections for the new patriotic party, and also a modern youth wing that is digitized and is able to serve as, a voice, to championing youth development in the new patriotic party. So this is exactly what I want to do. To build a very strong and robust, youth wing, I want to see an active party at all levels of the party. My constituencies give me a working plan, dovetail into regional, into national. Where as national youth organizer, I have my working plan that push together, all the 16 regions, their working plans into my, calendar, so that I'm able to go around to monitor and see how active my youth wing is. I have been going around campaigning, and I have told my regional, youth organizers and constituency youth organizers, their deputies and TESCON, executives, the aspirants, youth organizers, and so on and so forth. At the regional level, we will create our own specialized account, where as national youth organizer, I'll raise some resources and put it in. I want to break the eight.
That will be allowed by the party, the national party?
Yes, where it's about resourcing the youth wing to work. So I want to have a completely operational youth wing, which is working at the ground. So I want every youth organizer to give me, every constituency youth organizer, the deputy, to give me a working plan. What do you intend to do in your constituency in a quarter? Give it to me. I'm able to know that in this quarter, you are doing A, B, C, D. If it's gala, if it's health screening, if it's health walk, whatever program you want to, I want to come and be part of it. Let's go to the electoral areas where we have interaction with our polling station people. I would want to go down to ensure that we are in sync with our grassroots so that we work with them back to the top.
What is it that you think, you're still on your programming?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
I come on board this youth wing with a lot of experience. I'm about the most experienced person running for this position, national youth organizer. Okay. Nobody can claim any, sort of experience that I have. I've been deputy national youth organizer of this party.
Right.
I've told you my track, record as far as Attorney Abaye Fakabo, Mustapha Hamid, and co are all concerned. These are people I've worked with. I've been in this youth wing for God knows how long these years, and I have understood the youth wing. That's why I've taken my time to build a document called the Youth Project. I have on my laptop here. The Youth Project, it's supposed to revive, revitalize, reinvigorate the new patriotic part, the youth wing, and make it strong, bold, robust, fearless, up, to the task, fit and proper to deliver the next elections, okay? Outside experience, I come on board with wide and vast network. Virtually all government appointees are people I've worked with, I know. Ministers of state and so on and so forth. I have working relationship with them, some even personal relationship with them. I'll be able to use this network to ensure that we, support the youth wing for it to be that strong, like I have said.
In terms of what, finances?
In terms of funding our programs, financing, in terms of finding opportunities, the jobs, all the things that my youth want in the party. You see, one of the unique things I want to do that probably would become the cornerstone, the defining aura of the youth wing is we have what we call the Youth Wing Executive Committee, where all regional youth organizers are part of the National Youth Wing Executive Committee. I want to build an inclusive youth wing. I would include young members of parliament to it. They have a stake in the youth wing.
Right, I agree.
I want to add young ministers to it. They have a stake in the youth wing. Somebody like Abu Jinapo, Mustapha Yusuf, Kojo Nkrumah,
but
young
sometimes their hands are
CEOs.
full. I mean, Abu Jinapo, for example,
Yes.
is battling with so many things, land tenure
don't worry.
system,
We
agriculture
are
stuff,
politicians. We know how we do our
planting
thing.
There's so much.
Yeah, don't worry. We are politicians. We know how to do our thing. Yeah, we'll get it done.
You are politicians?
Yeah, we are politicians.
Okay,
we know
go
this is
ahead.
our job so well. Add young CEOs to it. The Director General of NLA, Kofi Fosun Cancer, NEP, Pius, Enam Hajide, NYE.
Right.
All these agencies, young people who have been part of the youth wing, who understands, the drive of the youth wing, bring them on board. Let them be part of the decision-making of the youth wing. And together, with the young MPs, young MMDCs, together form the executive committee of the youth wing. And once they are part, we are able to take decisions that inure to the benefit of young people in the party. I will tell them, it is not about me, it's not about SM, it's about the majority of the young people, those who are disenchanted, dispirited because they seek one or two things that they haven't gotten. How do we resolve it for them? So let's go back, all of us, and get the job done. Look, most of these people I have mentioned, anywhere there's a program and you invite them, they would come because they have it in their blood to give it all, back to the party. And I know that the youth wing would become stronger if we make it more inclusive, add these people to it, and ensure that the decisions that we take are far-reaching and, touches the lives, of the myriads of young people following the party.
Right. Hold on there. So let's see what people say. Lots of messages. Let me try and capture some. Good afternoon, Annie. The difference between the 1960s and the 2020s is that the 60s action was greater than words, but today too much words without action. Anyway, tell Salam to contact me. Thank you, Adam Bimbila. Do you know him?
I'm sure. I know.
You're sure? I'll check before you contact him.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, please. This is KK from Tamale, Russian Bangalore. I'm following your program. Please tell SM he's the best one and he will win. So good afternoon to you. To you, my able host, please. I joined your discussion late. Can you update me? I cannot now. But I'm Aliu Bashiru Shaributu, OT Regional Nasara Coordinator, says breaking the 8 is no joke. And we need leaders like SM to lead the youth front for our great party. You are our surest best, SM. Is a movement.
It's a movement.
Good afternoon to you, Metro TV. SM is the right person indeed to lead the youth, our great elephant party. I'm enjoying our incoming national youth organizer, Salam Mustapha, aka SM. We, the youth in Ashanti region, have fallen flat for you.
That's right.
For your project.
I've also fallen flat for them.
This is from Echo Valentino, from Mina constituency. I believe SM will deliver when giving the mandate. We need people like him who understand the dynamics of our politics to lead the youth front, SM all the way. To be able to break the 8, you didn't add on in the first one, but to be able to break the 8, the MPP needs a formidable, dynamic, hardworking, and most importantly, someone who is grassroots mobilizer to lead the youth front. Salam Mustapha is the right man, I think, and to lead the national youth organizer position. From Salam Benzema Ablekuma, Fan Milk. Oh, Benzema, I hope you're doing well. So, good afternoon, SM. SM is the man who has a requisite knowledge and experience to lead the youth wing into the elections. He is a man with a vision, a man with the youth, a man who has seen it all in the youth, having been in the youth wing for more than 16 years. Have you?
Yeah.
16 years.
Very long time in the youth.
This is from Ayas, Idris Baumia, North Coordinator for SM. Okay, so good afternoon, Annie. In fact, Mr. Mustapha is the best man for the job because they have the youth at heart. Allah shall give you the mandate. This is Sule from Nanumba South District, Walensee constituency. Okay, I greet them for us. Greetings from my able incoming youth Commander SM. This is the time we need your experience to break the 8 from Jabin Francis, from the former youth organizer, Bodi constituency in the Western North region. I get a lot of messages from these areas, and that's interesting. There's so many coming in, but we don't have time, so let me just have you wrap up. Yeah. What do you think of Fix the Country youth activism?
I don't think it's a youth activism. I think it's a political organization. And,
a political organization?
Oh, yeah. From the very first time I heard of them, I've been around the politics for far too long, and when shots are fired, I know. So when the shots were fired, I knew that this was nothing but the usual politics we do in this country. So
give us your final words. I won't let you waste time on that one, but give us your final words.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to say that By the grace of God, my strength in God is absolute. And I believe that victory is going to come from Him through the youth organizers and their deputies, TESCON, executives, young members of parliament, the aspirants, and the delegates, entire delegates, list of our college. I believe that they will repose their trust in me, looking at my track record, unblemished, unflinching, my resolve and my strength for this party is one that has stood the test of time. And they see it right in my eyes and the depths of my heart that indeed I'll be a good servant for the youth wing of the NPP. What I am waiting for the youth of the party to tell me is to repose that confidence and say, Salam, jump, and I'll ask them, how high do you want me to jump?
Right.
And I'll go that high that they want.
How you have been able to manage the 16 years without blemish is something we can find out later. Sure. But congratulations on...
Thank you.
Right.
I'll help.
Yeah. Right. Right. We have to go. We'll see you again. We'll see you again, and we wish you all the best. Watch the show again tomorrow, same time.